Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, the time has finally come where I think I want to drag this old mill out and get it operational. Now, this was my father-in-law's mill when he moved in with us about 5 years ago. We just tossed it in the corner over here, and I've never done anything with it, although I've really wanted to. So now, I think I'm going to move this thing out, get it set up, and possibly start doing some milling. Now, I don't know anything about this particular mill at all, or milling period, but my father-in-law used this for several years. He's a retired machinist. Even though this is old school, he's going to show he's got so much tooling for this mill. It's ridiculous. So he's going to get this thing, help me get this thing all set up so it's functional and working, and hopefully we can have a mill. Well, first thing I want to do is I want to move it from this location right here, and I want to put it over here where the bandsaw is, put the bandsaw back in here. By putting this over here, I've got much more room to work with. This thing does have outriggers on it, so I'll be able to get it over into position, open up the legs, level everything out, get it nice and stable and level, and I think this will be its new home and never going to move. The bandsaw, that thing's on wheels, it's over here. I can work with it here, or if I got bigger projects, I can easily roll it out into the shop and work with it there. So, with that said, let's start getting this thing going. So I started by removing all the crap that I had sitting on this thing for the last few years. And you know, when my father-in-law, he moved in with us a couple, 3 or 4 years ago, he asked me to cut the base of this thing, this mill off and lower it by 8 inches. And I never asked him why, because I didn't figure I'd be dealing with it. He would be dealing with it. But come to find out that he likes to sit down while he mills. Well, I see this isn't going to work for me, so I'm ultimately going to be raising it right back up. Okay, so I've got the mill moved into the position where I think it's going to be living here. I had it over there, I had it over here, I had it back, I had all these different positions, and it looks to be like this is where it needs to be. I've put these pieces were just all laying on top of this thing, and so this is the electric feed for this table here that runs back and forth. I've just put that on and hooked it up. It does have a wiring issue. It doesn't work, but I'll figure that out. I've taken this vise, which weighs about 75 pounds, this mill vise or drill press vise, I'm not sure, whatever. And I've just cleaned that up a little bit and lubricated the bolt on it, and it works really smooth and nice. As I did the same with the tables here in both directions, just lubricated and cleaned up everything. It was just had years and years of dust on there. It didn't work very well. Well, now everything is working really good in that department. But there are a few things that I need to do. And one of them is I want to show you over here the wiring nightmare that whoever had this before, my father-in-law, really did some weird stuff. And let me show you what's going on over here. You know, it really amazes me the way some people do things and the way they think. I can't believe for 1 minute that somebody who actually was operating this thing was thinking that this was okay and suitable to run. Well, definitely not safe, and it's something that I'm going to fix. Okay, so you saw some of the wiring over here, and it looks like these things have been spliced together several times. I'm thinking that's what it is. I don't know any other reason why it wouldn't, and I'm going to take them apart and find out what's going on with all this. But this stuff is really, a lot of it is unnecessary. And I'm going to rewire all of this, put new wiring and get everything where it needs to be and get it cleaned up. And I have a feeling that that's the reason why this automatic feed is not working properly, because the wire's actually frayed going into it. There's some loose wires underneath, and that's probably why this thing doesn't work. You gotta remember, this thing's been sitting for, oh my gosh, I don't know, it could be close to maybe 10 or 15 years before it was ever used, and not used much before that at all. So one of the other issues that I couldn't really figure out, again, I know nothing about milling or milling machines or anything. I'm kind of a learn as you go type of guy, and that's how I learned with the metal lathe that I got here, the 42-inch Atlas for my father-in-law. I knew nothing about that, but 2 or 3 times on it, I figured it all out, and now I have no problems working the lathe. I'm sure that's the way it's going to be here with this mill, but I'm just learning all of these things and trying to figure out how everything works. But I noticed that the chuck here, and this is not really a chuck, well, I guess where the collet goes in right here is really close to the surface, and I was trying to figure out, it looks like there's a little bit of space right here to raise that, and so I couldn't figure out how to raise that. The handle wasn't moving, and I went to the other side. There are a couple of really big bolts over there. I just loosened them off, and now this thing freely turns, and I'm able to raise this thing up. So hopefully I can raise this thing up about 6 more inches, and that'll give me a little bit more space in here to work with. So we're going to get all of that stuff done. But most importantly, I want to get this wiring installed. Let's do it. Okay, so I pretty much rewired everything here that was existing, and put all new wiring and everything in here. And I just got to show you. Check out what was on here. I've got to show you some of this. It's just unbelievable. I can't believe somebody would actually, I mean, take a look at this. I don't know how anybody can even think about having something like that in here, but they did. Yeah, at any rate, this is what's left of all the rewiring right here. As you can see, it looks much better, and everything works perfectly good, and it's nice and clean. So we got that part of it done. It's time to move on to the next thing. Okay, well, we're making some pretty good progress here with the Jet 16 drilling and milling machine. The more I do research on this, I find out that this is more of a high-speed drilling machine than it would be so much of a milling machine, but it's fully capable of doing some light-duty milling. Couple of things right here. My father-in-law had given me this mill, and we're getting this thing running and going through all the stuff. And one thing that he also brought out was this rotary table right here. Now, you guys have to please forgive me. I don't know all the terminology of milling. This is relatively new to me, so if I say the wrong thing, you know, bear with me. But I call this a rotary table. When he brought this to me, this thing was so, I don't want to say corroded. It wasn't corroded, but it just had been non-operational for probably 20, 30 years or more, and so it didn't really work very well. So I've gone through here, cleaned it all up, lubricated it really well, and now this thing works perfectly smooth. And you can tell that this thing is really a fine piece of equipment. It works so smoothly, and it feels so accurate. So anyways, I've got this thing, probably not going to use it much. You can see that it probably replaces this vise right here. If you take this off, this thing's got the same mounting brackets that would mount to the table here, and allow you to also mount stuff in here, which, by the way, I have all the mounting hardware that goes with this, all the T-nuts and brackets that would mount anything down on this. I've got boxes of that stuff. So I probably won't use this that much. At least I don't plan on it right now. We'll just store this thing underneath the mill and out of the way. The next thing that I've got that I've faced a little bit of problem with, again, I don't really understand all this, but the machine itself works perfectly good. Works good in both forward and reverse, and runs really nice and true and solid. I've checked it. It is perfectly true, so that's a good thing. And they have these different size, or I should say, I have these different size. I don't know. I want to call them collets. They're probably not collets, but what they do is they fit. This is an 1.5 inch shaft here, and these things fit up in here perfectly slugged. There's no movement whatsoever inside here. And what happens is I've got these in different sizes: 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4 of an inch. Now, depending on the milling bit that you're using, this one happens to be a 5/8 shaft. The little set screw in here, the milling bits have a flat spot on them, so they slide up in here. You tighten them up there, and then these things slide up inside here and tighten this set screw here, and there it is, and that's how it works. And it's all good because I have all kinds of milling mill bits for all of these, and I've got lots of them. My father-in-law's collected this stuff for years. Most of the stuff is brand new. I'm probably never ever going to use the stuff that he gave me, but because this is a high-speed glorified drill press more than anything, I think that's probably what I'm going to be using it for most. And so I want to be able to use this to get some drill bits in it. And I haven't looked yet, but I'm trying to think. I would imagine that you can get a set of drill bits with a 3/8 shaft or a 1/2 inch shaft that might come in different sizes, from maybe, I don't know, 3/16 up to 1/2 inch for a 1/2 inch shaft. So you can just put the drill bits in this and be able to crank them down and use them that way. The other way is, I've got this chuck. I've had this chuck for a while. I bought it for my other drill press by mistake, and it had this 3/4 inch shaft on here. So I thought that would be perfect. I'd be able to just put that right inside here and shove it up inside here, and I'd have a chuck to put, you know, all kinds of drill bits in. Well, that's all good and everything, but what the problem is the shaft on this is a couple thousand smaller than the actual hole right here. So when you put this in, there's a little bit of play back and forth. So what happens here is, if I was to put this in here like this and tighten the set screw in this flat part of the shaft, it will want to pull this over, and now that this chuck doesn't run true, and you get a little bit of wobble in the drill, and that's not good. You know, I want this thing to run perfectly true. So I'll be looking for something like that with a nice perfect shaft that fits in here with no play. That's a good option to use, or some drill bits that actually have 1/2 inch or 3/8 shanks on them that can be put in here. But all in all, I'm really anxious to get ready to use this mill. Everything is working perfectly smooth. Everything is well lubricated. Everything is like brand new, and I'm really anxious to get this thing into some use. So that'll be coming pretty soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little clip on getting the mill drill press in operation. We'll have this thing running here pretty soon. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for more videos. And also, if you can give me some kind of inside tip on what some of these things are called, or where I can find this, or for me to get more educated on this, please feel free to do so in the comment section. Thanks.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.